Salutations, my name is Summer and this is Sterling Reads, and I just had a horse and buggy go past in the back alley here. I live on a busy main street, but we have an alley in the back, and so it's nice to see them every once in a while go past. It's a dreary day here, but it's not supposed to rain, so hopefully the sun will come out. That would be nice. Anyway, so I was trying to catch up on Booktube. I was watching a video about, and I didn't finish it. It was a 3-year-old video, and I don't even know who the group of people were. It was 3 men and a woman, and you could tell they were all like academic, traditionally educated. I think they were all professors. Anyway, they were talking about what makes the book great. And they had different answers for this, and my favorite answer was it touches your soul. And I find that very true for me personally. A book could be well written, great characters, great story, but it has to have whatever that is that touches me to make it a great book. And sometimes I notice, like now that I'm in my 40s, nostalgia. A book may not be that great now. I can like see it for what it is, but it'll still hold a place in my heart because of when I read it. I still hold whatever that is, that love for it. So another one of their answers were, a book is great if it stands the test of time. Which makes me question, why is it still here? And that has to do with popularity, I would think. And why is the book popular? So did somebody just have, the money to keep it constantly published for us still to have it here to read it? I'm guessing somebody said, this book is really important. This book is really good. We need to have it. It needs to always be here for everybody because we can learn something from it, we can get something from it. But I always question popularity because, as we know, with certain authors, people love certain authors and some people really dislike those authors. We always have to think too about, okay, when was this book written? I know this sounds bad. This is going to make me sound horrible. But when somebody reads a book, okay, let's say Gone with the Wind, and then they say, well, I don't like the book because it has slavery in it. Well, it's written, that's what a lot of the book is about. And it was written at a time, well, it was written after, but it's written in a time when we had slavery. And I feel like we want to remember these things. If you make horrific things sound better, if you lightly gloss over these horrific things in history that have happened and you take it all away, then I feel like we lead by example, right? You know better, you do better. But to think that these things didn't happen, this isn't how people live their lives. Some people live their lives, whether you were a slave or a slave master. These things happened in history. And I feel like it's important for people to know, well, and still today, horrible things are happening. So, read what you want to read, right? A lot of us read for pleasure. Some people read to feel like they're in someone else's shoes, experiencing someone else's life that they wouldn't necessarily experience from their own life experiences. We read for many different reasons, and we get from the books, even like 2 different people reading the same book will have completely different experience with the book, usually, because we're all so different. We all feel, we've had so many things happen to us, and we react and we love things, dislike things because of those experiences and of who we are. I went on a tangent there, and I'm not sure why. That was not the point of of this necessarily at all. But I'm wanting to know, what do you think makes a book great? And it's very, not to be wishy-washy, but sometimes it can be, oh, here comes my mom. So she's going to come in and she's going to be like, I'm so sorry that I'm interrupting your thing. And it's completely fine. She knows I don't edit. But she goes on a walk every morning. So yeah, she's coming back. So if you don't mind, I will be right back. Wait, I'm making a video. I told him you were walking.
You don't want me to talk.
And that you I was talking about I was watching a video about what makes a book great.
Okay.
And they were talking about it touches your soul, or it stands the test of time.
Or there's something you really learn from it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I had talked about that too.
She said, makes you feel good.
Yeah. So anyway, so one of the books that they mentioned was Anna Karenina. And Anna Karenina is one of the greatest books. And I remember I read Anna Karenina a long time ago. And I didn't think it was as good as War and Peace or Resurrection by Leo Tolstoy. Do you remember reading Anna Karenina?
It's been too many years ago. 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I can't remember too much about it.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you want to make a video, I could redo this and...
No, I'm going to go in the other room so you can do this and be by yourself.
All right. Anyway, she's leaving. So Anna Karenina was one of the books where they say, this is the greatest book. It's been too long, honestly, since I've read it to say that it's one of the greatest books. But I do plan to reread it. Another book that they had started to talk about, and then I turned it off because I was thinking, I want to know what your opinion is about what you think are the greats, what makes a book great. So, yeah. But anyway, The Count of Monte Cristo was one that they said, oh, it's the greatest, one of the greatest books. And I'm a bit wishy-washy with The Count of Monte Cristo because I thought it was fantastic. But I was so disappointed in the main character, where he was constantly living his life about revenge. I felt like, oh, he just wasted so much time on this. And I mean, I haven't been an innocent person incarcerated for all those years, and how he had to escape. I mean, he would have died in that cell. So his escape was amazing that he survived that to begin with. But so it is a great book. I mean, it's just fantastic. But there were things that, I guess this is where it kind of did touch my soul in parts. But then I had a disappointment with it because of our main character and how he lived his life. So yeah. Another book, which this is like kind of calling out one of my Booktube friends, because I'm hoping that he makes a video where he talks about this, or that he brings this up when he does a live, because I think this was brought up during a live. But Mark over at Book Time with Elvis, I guess it's because of June on the Range, Lonesome Dove came up, and I don't remember who he was talking with. But he said there was something missing. When he read Lonesome Dove, he really enjoyed it, but there was something missing. And for me, I didn't have that experience. I mean, Lonesome Dove is a favorite. I've read the whole series. I used to think Comanche Moon was my favorite, which is the book that is timeline-wise right before Lonesome Dove, where they're younger. but it's so violent. I started reading it again, rereading it last year, and I ended up just setting it aside because it was like torture, torture, torture. And it was, yeah, it was difficult to read certain parts of it again. So I will be finishing that also, that reread at some point. Anyway, but I'm curious about, I had never heard anybody say that about Lonesome Dove before. So Mark, if you're watching this, I would love to hear more about books that you think, because I do know a lot of his favorites, but I don't know if he would consider them greats. I mean, I kind of feel like if it's your favorite, then it's great to you. But yeah, one of my books that I think is an all-time great, and I only read it once, so that's the problem too. I feel like an all-time great you would have to read a couple times, or read even different translations. But a book that I think is an all-time great is Les Miserables, which I always probably mispronounce that, by Victor Hugo. I absolutely loved everything about that book. And I read the newest, I think it's the newest translation by Catherine Doniger. That book had everything. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved where it all took us. I loved everything about that book. I feel the same way with The Grapes of Wrath, which I need to reread. I think I've read The Grapes of Wrath twice, but it's been so long ago since I've read it. But I just felt like it was so beautiful. The writing was beautiful. The story was beautiful. I have a place in my heart for anything during the Great Depression or the Dust Bowl, talking about, like, when I read about those types of subjects. So I gravitate towards them for some reason, that horrible time and struggle. But anyway, yeah, so I'm curious about books that you think are great, and why do you think they're great? If you have books, I would love to hear about people's greats, because I would love to read them. I remember a lot of people have recommended A Fine Balance, and I can't remember the author's name, but I want to say, no, I can't remember the author's name. But I have that on my Kindle. It was gifted to me, so I do plan to read that at some point. But I would love to hear what your grades are, why you think they're great. Is it more important that it touch your soul, or can you say a book is great that you just think has great writing and story and has standed the test of time? I'm curious. And if you have any that you would like for me to read, let me know, because I will add it to my list if I haven't already read it. So anyway, and for those of you who watched my video the other day, I am still reading Black Fire by Sunny Cooper. This is fantastic. Sorry, I need a drink. So this starts off in the Enterprise. We have a explosion straight off. First paragraph, there's an explosion on the Enterprise. Kirk is severely hurt, Captain Kirk. Spock has had a sliver of metal embedded in his spine. But you know how Spock is. He's so stubborn. He wants to know, like, who sabotaged the Enterprise, so he is all about finding out who it was. And a whole bunch of other stuff happens, which I'll tell you more about. But this is so good. Where she took it, where Spock goes with Scotty, it's very good. And I'm only halfway through. But this, A Time of Terror by Alan W. Eckert, I have cried probably 3 times in this. I'm not even halfway. This is about a flood in 1913 in Dayton. I believe 3 levees, I think 2 levees have broken already. But I think it's a total of 3 that break, and all the water just comes. Already we've had a lot of deaths. Like I said, I've cried. I've cried and cried in this. I have to say, though, the writing is pretty bad. which is strange because the Frontiersman, I didn't notice that. I thought it was a fantastic read. There's a lot of punctuation problems. There's misspellings that are just silly misspellings. Like he slammed the door hard, he slammed the door barred. So they just switched the B to an H. I'm just surprised that somebody didn't catch these little tiny nothings that you would catch just reading it. But the story, it's like I just want to know. So I'm reading every day. I'm just a slow reader, and then I'll read something that I'll have to go look something up about it. People's like, oh, I didn't know about this, which I do that usually anyway, so it takes me forever to finish anything. So here I thought I had all this time and I would get all this reading done, and I have not accomplished reading-wise what I thought I was going to accomplish. But Tuesday, I went to my quilting group and I was given a new pattern. So yesterday I was just cutting and measuring a lot. And I cannot listen to an audiobook. I was listening to Booktube while I was doing it because I have to put a lot of my focus towards measuring and cutting and how many I need instead of listening, to something that I have to keep with. So I was able to catch up a little bit on my Booktube videos, which I was happy about. Anyway, let me know what makes a great book for you. I'm so curious if you might even have a list of great books. I'm just waiting to hear because I'm excited to hear what people have to say about it. Anyway, I hope you're having a great May. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.